going on, everybody? Oh, no, you're the host. I fucked something up already. Starting off the show, and you're over there. But, hey, anyway, it's the Bengals and Brews podcast, the only podcast where we talk shit until we're drunk. But, we're gonna talk a little Bengals, talk a little about NFL, talk about life, talk about how stupid I look in that orange arrow outfit. I noticed, like, right off the bat that thing looks a little crazy. What do you guys think?
So you want to start during the week of free agency? You want to start by talking about yourself?
Talk about me, yeah, exactly.
I think it's pretty awesome.
I think you should stop going to schools and having the crotch rip out in front of all the children. You want to tell that story real quick?
Hey, no, let's get on to free agency. How about that?
All right, we're joined by Joe and Glenn Goodberry. So glad to have them. Everybody knows Joe that follows the Bengals, and I say about half the people know Glenn.
I'm getting a lot of love these days from my Bengals friends here that I got on Twitter now. So,
yeah, good guys.
In my eyes, it's got to be a little more than half. I mean, it seems like every time Joe's in town, Glenn's in town, right?
There's also a small portion that think we're the same guy.
Yeah.
And they get very confused. They're like, wait a second, what are you, a Bills fan? And I'm like,
right.
Or they'll think, what are you just tweeting about the Bills right now? I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, that's your Bills account. You have a Bills account and a Bengals account? No, they're two separate people, everyone.
I've had Steeler fans DM me like, we're on your mind. You got a Bills logo up right now. We stay on your mind. And I'm like, I think you're talking about my brother. And then they apologize to me, and then they follow me. It's weird.
It's very weird.
That's awesome.
All right, so let's hop into free agency. Well, I guess we'll start with Monday. How surprised were you, especially Joe, for this one, when they were the first one to announce a deal?
Announce a deal or a visit?
To agree to a deal with Alex Kappa on Monday.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, I was very surprised, actually. I thought they wanted to make a statement, obviously, when they were like, we're not going to sit here. It's not going to be okay. We're not going to let Burrow get hit like that. So I do definitely think that was part of the plan. Now, on the other hand, I've called it more ceremonial than anything because I think they wanted to make a statement, and they did. But the player you're getting is a quality player, but he's not a Pro Bowl guard. They didn't go get the top guy in any position. They didn't go throw huge money. His cap hit this year is $6.75 million. Right in the range of where they pay guards. They didn't make their contract structured any different than they normally do. So, they kind of did their thing. They just made sure they did it first so that it looked good. And I don't want to be too cynical about that. I'm glad to have Alex Kappa. I just think it was more of a show than it was actually adding, the kind of guy we kind of wish they would go for.
I still appreciated it personally. And we've got Glenn over here eating wings.
I was going to say we've got to talk.
We'll get him back in on some Bills talk because they've made some great moves.
Do your thing.
All right. So maybe that was just for us, but honestly, I appreciate it because I always hate we're sitting there, we're waiting half the day just for them to announce a signing like that.
Right.
Kappa is good. I'm guessing they were really hoping before Tom Brady come back that would have been Ryan Jensen. I don't know if you heard much about that, but it just seemed like there was a lot of.
I think Jensen would have got way more money had Brady not come back, so I don't think they were ever in on it that much.
Yeah.
But you know what the underrated point, though, is that I appreciate is that it means they were illegally tampering. And you kind of always wondered if the Bengals are kind of too Boy Scout at times, right? Do you guys ever push the envelope? Do you do anything wrong, and to get a deal done at 12:01?
I mean, they threw pie in my face big time because we had a chat Saturday night and on our show, and I was like, you know what? I think the Bengals are that kind of team that, they want to do everything by the book, and then all of a sudden, 12:01, they've got a 4-year deal signed. I'm like, oh well, shit. I guess I don't know what I'm talking about after all.
And then Ted Karras, we'll go ahead and just jump onto him next. I was thinking center all along when they brought him in. It seems like he's played that more, but then when you look at his PFF grades, he's played left guard and right guard, basically at the same level in all three spots. What's your thoughts on him? I think it opens up the draft still.
Yeah, because he's versatile, because he's played guard and center. He's about 2,300 snaps at center versus about 1,000 snaps at guard. So he's definitely, I think, they view him as a center, or they want him to be a center. You're right, though, bringing up the PFF stuff, because he grades out, based on their logic, better at guard than he did at center, which that's the other part, too, about him is, you're getting a steady guy, a fresher guy than Hopkins was. Hopkins couldn't even practice on Wednesdays for half the year because he was still recovering. I think that became an issue with their pass protection and blitz pickups, things like that. Getting Karras in is just going to eliminate that issue and help the communication. He's known for being a guy that's extremely smart and great with the pickups and stuff. It's the reason why he got back on the field after coming into this year, wasn't the starter, had to beat out Michael Onwenu from Michigan. Second-year guy, rookie last year, was tremendous for the Patriots. Mm-hmm. And Karras beat him because they needed that mental stability in the interior of the offensive line, so he ended up playing at left guard. But at the same time, he's also a guy that's been available now 3 off seasons in a row. He played a little bit for the Patriots, then got signed by the Dolphins. Dolphins, had him for 1 year, went back to the Patriots. Anyone could have signed him. And then there was even rumors that the Bengals inquired during the trade deadline this past year, where he really had, but it didn't end up working out. So he's been available, and he's got a $5 million cap hit. They didn't go crazy with him either. So it's just a cynic in me of you got guys, but you could have pushed it a little bit more.
Yeah, and I mentioned I went on Sports of Strawberry Ice on Monday, and after that deal, and when I think the guaranteed news broke right at the time, 1 year, I said it's $5 million guaranteed. I said it's basically a 1 year deal if they want it to be. It's not 3 years, $18 million like it's first reported. You got to look at the guaranteed money.
Mm-hmm. It's exactly what it is. If they want to get out of it or move him, you brought up the draft. If Tyler Linderbaum, Iowa, is still there, or Zion Johnson of Boston College, he's a guard, Linderbaum's a center.
Kenyon Green would be my another guard if he would slide.
Exactly. Right. You could figure out a lot of things and move guys around with him, which is a good thing.
Yeah. Now when it comes to those two combined together, I know I think you had them both as a tier 3. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah.
So do you think the combination of those two being together, followed with Carmen or one of those guys on the left side, do you think that'll be a significant upgrade to the line we had last year, into the year last year? Not necessarily what we ended up with, but what we started with.
I'm glad you said that, because that's how I always compare it as well.
Yeah,
where did you start with? What was the plan? When you go into week 1, that's how you plan to have your roster, unless someone got hurt in preseason or camp. But they weren't. They were healthy at that point. I still think they're going to bring Quentin Spain back, even if it's a 1 or 2 year deal to compete with Jackson Carman. So you kind of factor that in there. If it's Spain, Karras, and Kappa, they're definitely better, because the right guard was such an issue last year. It was.
Yeah,
I don't think it was just the worst starter on their offense. It was probably their worst starter on the entire team at right guard. So that's such a big addition. He could be a tier 3 guy, but I think Adeniji would be a tier 5 guy, to be honest with you. I think he could be cut in this camp, to be honest, because it's a guy that's given up 13 sacks in just about 1 full season. It's really been 2 years now. He just hasn't been effective at all at the guard position. Maybe he ends up being a tackle. But the point is, at those spots, yes, they should be upgraded. But we're still sitting here, and the news is we're worried about right tackle still.
Yeah, and we do have some breaking news. Obviously, we were talking literally right before we went on, and was it Mike Garofalo? Is that who we said it was? That said La'el Collins left Cincinnati without a deal. He's going to have at least another visit or 2 lined up, and after that, the Bengals are still in the running. But I feel like we have seen this before. Usually, if they get out of the building without a deal, there's something. It could have been a take it or leave it money situation, or if he felt the physical, then they would completely be out. What are your thoughts on the La'el Collins situation?
I mean, I think it starts with the potential to trade for him and how nobody did. And it sounded like the Cowboys would have taken a bag of peanuts for La'el Collins, who was formerly a great player. So you kind of have to wonder what was going on. You hear rumblings, and people have said that they were worried about his hip, having a degenerative hip issue, and that it would never get better. I had one guy even tell me it was toast. When the Patriots weren't interested or inquired and then pulled out and said they weren't going to do it, the Dolphins haven't set up a visit yet. Other teams haven't set up visits. It was just the Bengals. It kind of, the writing on the wall was there that I think there's an issue with La'el Collins, and there's something going on there. So it's not a surprise to me that He shows up to the visit. They probably wanted him, right? Even with the issues, they probably put him through the physical. Now I'm speculating, but I'm putting 2 and 2 together. The best
and that's all we can do, and that's all this is. Yep.
Yeah, and I think he had issues come up on his physical, and they said, okay, you're not going to get $10 million a year. Here's an incentive contract where games played, and you can make your money back if you're healthy and you can play. And he probably didn't want to hear that, right? I mean, he probably was like, no, I can probably get someone else out there. I think it's interesting that we see reports while he was in town of the Dolphins are interested. Other teams are interested. Other teams are interested in Collins. They're not, but they may have interest, but they're not interested like that. And the point of that is that's the agent trying to make sure the Bengals know that, hey, I've got other teams here. Let me tell a reporter that he's got other people. You better give him a stronger offer than what you're giving him.
Yep, step it up.
Exactly. So I think what it sounded like is when they were like, oh, he went home. He really didn't. They probably took a break and we're going to come back later.
Well, we know he was at the mall, and then he started trending on Twitter because some people, the post lady had him in the back seat.
Yeah.
He was hanging out, drinking some brews with Tony the Tiger.
Right. I know. So what I think happens is they get back together, and the Bengals were probably I bet Collins' side and his agent were probably wondering or hoping the Bengals would amend that offer if there was one and say, okay, here's a little bit more money. We want to get you here. The Bengals, knowing who they are, probably said, this is our offer. Again, 3 hours later, 4 hours, whatever it was in their break. Take it or leave it. What do you think? And he probably still declined it, trying to hopefully get a better deal out there.
And maybe his agent got in contact with another team at that point in between and said, okay, we'll bring him in. We'll do our own physical, and then we'll talk contract details. And maybe that's where we're kind of at since they mentioned, a visit or two coming up. So maybe they have something in the works.
And that's why that was reported that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, this reminds me so much of back when I was selling cars. I feel like it relates so much to car sales. Like once you get these guys in the house, you do not, under any circumstances, want these guys to leave. And I did see somewhere. I don't know if this is correct. People were probably just shooting out numbers and stuff, but I did see somewhere where it was like a 4-year, $50 million. Somewhere in
there's so many fake accounts, man. That was nothing. Like that was random person with 50 followers.
Oh, okay. I was just scrolling through Twitter and just happened to see that. And at first I'm like, that doesn't sound terrible. And especially the way the Bengals sign contracts where if like after 2 years.
But if you were going to sign him for 4 years, $50 million, you would have traded a 6th or 7th round pick for him. And made
that's
sure
that's where I was going into. I was starting to think, well, if they would have done that, why wouldn't they have just traded, a 7th round conditional pick for him and stuff like that? So, but as far as like the money goes, what are you thinking? Because I'm not very good with this contract stuff. I mean, what would the rate of a Collins size tackle be?
It's hard to say, right? If he was healthy, someone would have traded for him, and that's what I think. That was an easy contract with no guarantee.
$10 million per.
$10 million per, and every year you could cut him with no hit against your cap. So, like, that's ideal for a guy that may have injury issues. So, why wouldn't you have taken that? Well, because it must be more severe than that, or you don't want a $10 million cap hit this year, and you want to give him, let's say, $15 million this year, and if the cap hit's only like $7 million. Because you can give him cash and signing bonus year one.
Yep.
And bring down the year one cap hit.
So that's basically giving him BJ Hill's deal.
Sure.
3 years, $30 million, 15 first year. Like he gets the same amount of money over the next 3 years, but the Bengals front load it. They still have that open money for Burrow. Like
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would have thought would have happened. Yeah. But obviously they didn't come to an agreement. It must be less than that, the offer.
Yeah, this is a question for you guys because I don't know. I'm assuming they mean Daryl Williams, Trent Brown, and I don't know the
Jermaine Effetti. I think he played with was it Seahawks last year or Seahawks previously at some point. And then I don't know who Lamb.
I don't know who the Lamb is.
They're all. I mean, I would take Daryl Williams for sure. He's a guard and tackle. He's played both. Played a lot of guard for the Bills last year. I wanted him last year before we ended up signing with the Bills.
All right, Glenn, give us your breakdown on Daryl Williams while we're on Daryl Williams real quick.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who, me?
Yeah, you want to talk about Daryl Williams? You remember what he did last year?
I want to talk about you guys taking Bobby Hart back.
Oh,
you guys
he was on the Bills last year, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, what the hell was that? Like,
he found like 3 jobs last year. How does
the
that
Bills and Bengals are like.
Buffalo was like Captain Saberho when it came to Bobby Hart.
Hey,
they just kept plugging him in.
Let's get into a little Buffalo Bills talk since we're talking Daryl Williams and stuff. Before we break down him real quick, what do you guys think about trading the pick for what's his name, the quarterback?
I tried to make a medium.
Yeah, they're medium.
He's eating the wings and he's coughing over there.
We see Josh Allen talk. Yeah, we're getting into Buffalo talk.
Yeah, absolutely. The Cleveland Browns quarterback, you guys, not Baker, but the other one. I saw where you guys traded for him today. What's your thoughts on that?
They traded for a quarterback?
Yeah, they traded for their backup. What's
Keenum?
Yeah, Keenum.
I think
it's fine. Keenum could come in, right? And if Josh Allen were to go down, obviously one of my biggest fears.
You're lying to yourself right now, Glenn.
Hang on. One of my biggest fears is Josh going down. Is Josh replaceable? Josh Allen?
No,
probably not. Right?
That's what I said. That's why, like, when it's like, oh, are we going to sign a better backup to Brandon Allen? No, because if Joe gets hurt, we're fucked anyways.
Right. You're not going to sign a top 15 quarterback to be your backup and then come in and hopefully do better or be able to keep.
Pittsburgh's thinking you did last year.
So who do you get? You get Case Keenum, I guess. Right? Ryan Fitzpatrick was thrown around. They traded a 6th-round pick or a 7th-round pick for Keenum.
Right.
And we also signed back what's his name? That
Jake Fromm?
Not Fromm.
Who else do they have?
What's his name? He was gone.
Is it the rookie you guys drafted a few years ago?
No, well, Fromm was a year ago, and then didn't he end up at the Giants at some point last year?
They did. Yeah, and they didn't tender him.
They did. So Fromm ended up on the Giants. They didn't tender him. Fromm's been, the Giants have been taking even Tyrod Taylor.
That's right.
Ex-Bills, but
let my producer look this up for you.
You were the producer. You were the same person.
So we went into the beginning of the week without a backup quarterback. We had Josh Allen on the roster, and that was it. But so they picked up 2 guys. One was already here and traded for one. We got a few guys that had left for a year and came back too. With
Shaq Lawson
and
you got no, that ain't right. Hold on,
Derek. Can I just say you're like, hey Glenn, let's do some Bills talk. How about that backup quarterback, Case Keenum? They signed Von Miller. Let's start there, Glenn.
Yeah, if we talk about one guy with Von Miller.
Case Keenum.
Right.
Shit, yeah, I completely forgot about that. Go ahead.
Yeah, so the big Bills news is Case Keenum, everyone.
The big talk was
we're going to look past the Von Miller thing, No.
Bills Mafia was high on Chandler Jones, right? That Bills Mafia was like, Chandler Jones. We got to sign Chandler Jones. So we got to get him. We got to bring him back. He's from Rochester. We got to get him here, come home, help us seal the deal. He signs with the Raiders, and the next thing you know, we get Von Miller on this mega deal, which looks more like a 3-year deal now with the numbers into it. I don't expect him to be on the Bills.
How did you find out they signed Von Miller?
I think you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're in my DMs and we're talking back and forth. And you go, they signed Miller. I'm on my way to work too. I got all these things going on. My head starts spinning. I'm working overnights. My first couple hours at work are unproductive because I'm like, Von Miller. I'm buzzing. I'm in it. I'm on Twitter. It's, my head's spinning, trying to figure out what's going on, what made him come to Buffalo. He was in L.A. But when does the Miller jersey get delivered? I did not order a Von Miller jersey yet. I'm still on the hunt to complete my full Josh Allen jersey collection. So I got one more. I got the red jersey to get for Josh Allen. Excuse me.
Before you get a Miller?
Before I get the Von Miller. I think I'll get the Von Miller before the season starts.
And is he wearing number 40?
He's going to wear 40.
Yeah, you got to get that jersey.
They presented him at 40. It looked real good on the blue. Last I saw yesterday, only white was available in men's sizes, and then women's had blue, and then they had children in blue. But I'll get the Von. The Von Miller jersey will get delivered over the summer.
So Joe could probably wear the children's size, right, with his small hand.
Yeah. I got small hands too. I photoshopped mine. I did mine on the.
You're not supposed to tell people that. Like that was the whole thing.
I did
honest right now.
So the moment I figured out how to properly do the hand size because of the whole Kenny Pickett thing and all that, I looked it up and I'm like, dude, my hands are like 8 3/4. I don't even make the cut.
Your poor wife.
Hey, it makes things look bigger. That's all I'll say.
I'm saying, is it relative? Are you like 5'4"? Because then that would make sense.
No, I'm 5. What am I? Like 5'9". So it's like I'm your prototypical, like I guess you could say running back, 5'9", 200 pounds. I'm a Randy Bullock. There you go, kicker. There you go, perfect.
Real quick, Matt Barkley. I'm sorry.
Matt Barkley. Okay.
Matt Barkley's being rumored to return back to Buffalo. He's tweeting some stuff and some Buffalo-related stuff. So,
well, I feel like wherever he goes, like he's not as good. But when Buffalo, like when he's had to play, he's actually been decent. It's like the only place he was decent at.
I don't want to see him. Honestly, I want Josh.
Get all drums or all flats?
No, that's a whole array. I made some wings, guys.
All right, tell us about the wings and the sauce.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the wings are just basic wings. We got Wegmans here. It's called is our grocery store. I just bought a pre-bagged, frozen, fresh. Some people will tell you, they like one way or another. These ones are frozen. I think they're fine. They went well. They cooked well. Excuse me. I air fried them, and then they make. Oh yeah. We got these player themed sauces here in Buffalo, so I used the Josh Allen hot just to go with the theme for tonight. And I added some butter, which is typical. If you want to dumb the sauce down a little bit to make your medium sauces, Joe's a little soft.
Like Cooter style.
We got all this Josh Allen sauce on there.
So I got all this Josh Allen elite sauce on here. top 3 sauce. And
top 3 sauce,
top 3,
And you guys are from the Buffalo area, correct? I'm sure most people probably already know this about you guys, but just one thing. I think I know the answer, Joe, because I think I've heard you say it before, but how did you become a Bengals fan instead of sticking with the Bills?
And not only become a Bengals fan, but how did you stay a Bengals fan throughout the entirety of that's the crazy question right there.
Well, my first football memory is the Bengals helmets. So I don't, it kind of stuck there. I remember my dad kind of talking shit about the Bengals, like as if they had a rivalry because they played a lot in the late 80s in the playoffs and stealing it, like the no-huddle offense from each other. And they had, some decent games in the, in that end of the 80s, early 90s. And then so that I kind of thought they were like a rival team. So I always picked rival teams from him or like the rival whatever from him.
Yeah, he's a Bruins fan too. If he doesn't watch much hockey, but Sabres here, and then their rivals is Boston.
Right. So like I kind of always did that. Whenever we had like a foosball table or an air hockey table, like they had teams or whatever, you pick opposite teams. That's how you are with your brother, right? So I just stuck with it. But I will tell you, one year I had a moment of weakness where I said, fuck it, I'm not watching the Bengals anymore. They're so terrible. I can't watch them. So it was 2002, and I was born in Tampa Bay, Florida. And so my dad.
So you were a fan by 2002?
Oh, yeah. No.
You got me beat because that's the year I became a fan.
Yeah, I became a fan in 03, so.
Yeah, I had a Carl Pickens jersey in like 99, 2000.
It was 1997 because I remember wearing it to middle school.
Yeah,
I stole his Carl Pickens jersey. It was a white one. It was gorgeous. First day I'm wearing it. I'm getting awesome complimented in the hallway.
Right. He had 99 catches that year. So anyways, so 2002 comes around, and the Bengals are on TV one time this year. Remember, they go 2-14 this year.
Yeah.
And I was born in Tampa, Florida. My dad goes, you don't have to be a Bengals fan. Why don't you watch some other teams? And I'm like, all right, I'm going to watch the Bucs.
He's trying to literally help you after that stretch in the 90s.
That's exactly what he's doing. Exactly. And I'm not watching them on TV in Buffalo. They're not on for me at all. So, like, I'm, like, watching highlights, listening to radio stuff, getting whatever I can. And that was how I was a fan. It was a poor way to be a fan. Anyways, I ended up watching, like, 12 Buccaneers games that year. They win the Super Bowl, long story short. And it's like, oh, it was fun, but I felt like I cheated, right? I felt like I really care for that team. There is a small part of my heart that still loves that 02 Bucks team. Yeah.
Who did they have? That was Warren Pat, Derek Brooks.
Yeah, Simeon Rice,
was
John
that the
Lynn,
last Super Bowl they had?
Rondé Barber.
Stacked.
Yeah.
Last year.
And John Gruden just got traded there, and he had to build that offense because Tony Dungy couldn't do that. And, that Brad Johnson and Michael Pittman and Keyshawn Johnson, Keenan McCardell, Joe Jurevicius in the slot. I mean, I really liked that team. And but I felt like I cheated. And the Bengals had the number 1 pick, and I loved the draft.
Well, the Marvin signing was a good signing, too.
Yeah,
that was kind of the start, too.
There was hope. You could feel the hope boiling up at that time for the first time in a long time. And I loved the draft, and I was just getting into the player evaluation aspect of everything. Mel Kiper at the time was a superstar at leading that.
Still is.
Right. And the Bengals had the number 1 pick, and I'm like, look at this Heisman-winning, golden-armed quarterback, man. All right, I'm back in. Let's watch this. And I stuck with it.
Yeah.
I went to Mel Kiper books. Remember the books?
What's up? You guys can split it. Yeah. Get on out of here, okay?
Derek is also on daddy duty. His wife.
Yeah, I'm on daddy duty today.
So.
Yeah. Is that where Joe went?
Joe went to get his Mel Kiper books from the early 2000s.
Oh, okay.
See, 2005. This was just sitting over in my office, and I looked at this recently. Aaron Rodgers and Alex Smith on the cover. 2006, Reggie Bush on the cover.
Okay, I never knew of those, so now I'm super jealous, and I'm wondering if they have them on eBay.
They must, but there's scouting reports on all these players. I mean, full pages.
It's kind of like the Dane Brugler now, which I just usually get each year and download that. But
Dane's the man. Yeah, very similar.
Back before smartphones, you'd have these things sitting on the back of the toilet.
Yeah,
I'd go in there, they're on the back of the toilet. I'm like, I can't read these.
You would read them. Stop.
Hey, let's talk about what you guys got drinking. What you guys drinking on over there?
I went to Wegmans and I grabbed some Buffalo stuff. So I gave Joe something special. This is a seltzer made by Labatt Blue. It's called QB1.
Oh,
Josh Allen. Nice. Again, he's got me drinking down Josh Allen.
Yeah, I gave him this.
But why don't we have cool stuff like
Josh
that?
Allen sauce and you're drinking down some Josh Allen beer.
And it's Josh Allen.
He goes, I'm going to give you a seltzer. That'll be funny. And I'm like, all right.
The first beer I drank is a 12 Gates. It's called Table Smasher. If that's not as generic.
That is genuine Buffalo right there.
And this is it's a Kolsch. It's made with bee country honey. It's kind of on the sweet side. And it's pretty good. And now I've moved on to a Southern Tier, which is like our southern end of Western New York. Southern Tier Brewing Company, Nitro Hot Cocoa Stout.
I'm ready for
that has
I'm going to give
all over it right there.
I'm about to give Joe another Buffalo-related beer.
What's this?
This is a lager. It's called Pancho's Legacy Lager by 12 Gates. Pancho Billa passed away a few years ago. He was Bill's super fan.
Okay. I know who Pancho was. Yeah.
Did a lot of charity work, and 12 Gates did a beer, and it's a pretty good beer. Awesome. So now Joe gets to drink it.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw what I was drinking on last weekend, but I had a Morlean, or however you say that. It was a Nitro Stout as well, like a milk stout.
Yeah,
so good. I love those beers. But
today
I got me a Mad Tree. It's Happy Amber.
Nice.
It's an amber ale. It's
really
good. What are you drinking on over there, Dale?
And once again, I have a beautiful, delicious Miller Lite can, like I do every other week. Shout out Miller Lite. Don't hesitate to sponsor the show. That would be fantastic.
Shout out Vaughn Miller. It's Miller time.
There you go.
Miller time at the Highmark Stadium this year, which we, depending on your generation here in Buffalo, it's either Rich Stadium or the Ralph. And then, we eventually got some commercial names, but Highmark Stadium.
No, let's talk more about Case Keenum. But you guys also signed O.J. Howard. So.
That's right.
They did. So if he could stay healthy, I think complimentary to Dawson Knox. Mm-hmm. Dawson Knox led the league in tight end touchdowns last year. He really I saw something. He worked in the offseason. He did some ballet and some other things to get his footwork and his body placement right. and his hands right to he worked with somebody with that too. But Josh really trusted him this year. And there's a few games where he went off, a lot of broken plays. There was a play against New England in the playoffs, that wild card round. I thought Josh was throwing the ball away. That thing was like 10 feet in the air going out of the end zone. Knox leaps up into the air and catches it for a touchdown on their first drive. And then they totally wiped New England clean. But as far after that with Knox with tight end, I'm kind of happy that we were talking about Gronk too. There's always a connection with Buffalo and Cincinnati. We got the Gronk.
The Bengals were interested in OJ Howard.
And Bengals in Howard. The Gronk talk, where's Gronk going to go before Brady came back? Gronk's from Buffalo.
It was going to be one or the other, it seemed like. I mean, honestly, because he could pick wherever he wanted.
Speaking of New York teams, we were interested in Conklin as well, and he ended up signing with the Jets. So
Conklin was my guy. He was my pick for if they needed a tier 3 guy to replace.
And that was his best year last year with Minnesota, wasn't it?
Oh.
And with Buffalo, too. Buffalo was one of the healthiest teams in the league last year, and O.J. Howard is optimistic about Buffalo's approach towards health and keeping him healthy and on the field.
It's a bet for him.
Yeah, because I think with the opportunity for, what the Bills have to offer to keep him healthy, maybe
you can go back and look at my tweets because I don't delete shit because I ain't a pussy. But I coming into that draft, I absolutely loved Dawson Knox. I was talking to him up. I wanted to draft him in the second round, and then they ended up getting
Drew Sample.
Which I mean, I'm okay with Drew Sample, just not
bullshit.
Right. What are you okay with?
Second round pick. We traded him. We could have had A.J. Brown.
I'm not talking about for the draft value. I'm just talking about as a player. I think he is a quality backup tight end. That's all I'm saying. But if you're talking about the draft,
he's a what?
He's a solid backup tight end. He's a good blocker. Hey, here. I'll get another one.
We know you like him. That's okay.
Right.
I hope he DMs you. I hope he sees this and he hits you off.
The only guy in Cincinnati backing Drew Sample.
He's like, I got some tickets for you. We'll call for the opener. Come through.
We'll go to Columbus.
I'm sure he's a nice guy. I'm sure he's a great husband. If he has kids, I'm sure he's a great father.
Yeah.
But he's not a damn good tight end. He's not a second round pick.
I didn't say he was a great tight end. I just said he was a good blocker. A solid backup tight end. There. I said it.
Put him round 2.
I love.
He was a 6th round pick.
He was. I had him mocked to the Bengals in round 6.
Yeah. I hated picking him over Dawson Knox because I was in love with Dawson Knox.
Yeah.
He's worked out for us. I'm happy with
him. I'd love to have Dawson Knox. Remember I
had him on my page.
The hell out of the Bengals for that touchdown? Do you remember that? Darius Phillips goes on a blitz. Josh Allen breaks out, hits Dawson Knox, and he stiff arms Jesse Bates into the ground and goes for the
earth.
He lost. He gave his soul away.
Yeah.
Andy Dalton overthrows Auden Tate on a slant on 4th down. Auden Tate's 7 foot. He throws it 9 feet.
Exactly.
We lost. Oh, shucks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, good.
All right, let's talk about our tight end for the Bengals. Hayden Hurst signed this week.
Yep.
He's got a great message about mental health and depression, and I think everyone can relate to that at least somewhere in their family, if not personally. Easy to root for. As a player, I think this could work out well for him. What's your thoughts, Joe?
Yeah, he's a former 1st-round pick. He was a 25-year-old rookie because he was drafted, played baseball for 2 years.
Yeah,
he's a good athlete, and he can catch the ball. He's got really good hands. He's never was much of a blocker. He will give his effort, but he's just never been very good at it. In fact, he split out last year or the year before. It did in 2020 when he had his best year with the Falcons, the best career year.
He was like 400 versus 200 in the snaps, wasn't it?
Yeah, where he was split out wide or in the slot, or he really wasn't a traditional wide tight end. So I wonder if they'll do that a lot with him, just because the kind of player he is. I do think it's an upside kind of move. It's a 1-year deal, $3.5 million. So they didn't spend a lot at that position. They really can't spend a lot. When you draft 3 receivers the way you do, and you plan on extending all 3, and you paid your running back, you kind of got to say, listen,
and you're trying to pay and improve your line,
right? You just tight end's going to have to fall back. You're going to have to get these guys in the draft for cheap and keep them for cheap if you can. So I get it. And I think there could be some upside with Hayden Hurst. They didn't get worse at the position, I don't think, than CJ Uzomah. We love CJ, right?
I feel like it's the same.
They're like right here.
It's going to be about the same.
Right. So it really doesn't matter. My initial tweet when they were signed was, this elevates the need to draft a tight end. It had nothing to do with Hayden Hurst himself. It's a 1-year deal. He's going to be 29 years old.
Drew Sample will be a free agent after this year.
Right, and we know what Drew Sample is probably.
Thank God. Sorry.
If he's the biggest surprise,
the biggest hater apparently over here.
We got Thad Moss, man. No.
Or you're right.
no.
Or Daryl says Drew Sample is going to be MVP.
But
yeah.
So what it means is why you elevate that is because you want to draft a guy a year or 2 earlier than you need him anyways at tight end. It's a slow developing position. So you want to get a guy in the 3rd, 4th, even 5th round, where Drew Sample should have been picked, not in the 2nd round like you liked him.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't like him in the 2nd round.
Yeah, Derek had him as number 1 overall.
Right.
I should have just kept my mouth shut.
We stole him in the 2nd round.
You're getting dragged for it.
I did a mock draft just a little bit ago. I sent it to you, Dale, but I don't remember. I think I got Rucker in the 4th round, didn't I?
Or I think 3rd. I think I've been some of those mock draft simulators.
Yeah,
getting him in the 3rd. But honestly, I wouldn't care to go 2nd round for a tight end, depending on what we do. Like, I know we let Lyle Collins leave, but if we could sign him at right tackle, or like somebody asked earlier, like a Trent Brown even. I just worry about his injury history, but he has the greatest tattoo of all time. If you haven't seen it, look up Trent Brown.
What is it?
All you have to see
it's since it's our show, I'll describe it. I couldn't describe it on Sports Strawberry Ice. It's a little more PG. He has a girl sucking his dick. It's him. It's him.
Pull it up.
He tattooed himself.
Their facial reaction.
All right, if you can find the tattoo, Derek, and pull that up. I mean,
I can get my producer on it right away.
He plays tackle for the Patriots and Raiders.
I mean, he's got like his jersey number on. Like, I mean, he's just having the best time of his life with that tattoo.
Trent Brown tattoo is the 3rd
most search thing.
All right.
If you type Trent Brown, his tattoo comes up.
Are you ready for it?
Bring it up, Derek. Bring it up.
You said he tattooed himself?
I'll pull it up on here, too.
It means that's him.
Look at that 149. Or is that 144? 144.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is. But look at this.
He's got 2 girls.
There.
It's not just one girl.
I was getting there.
Jersey.
Good Lord, man. That's not it.
Yeah,
there it is.
That is not it.
There it is. We got to zoom in on it.
Man. Can't make that image
zoom in on it? Here, let me see what I can do.
I mean, look at it here. It shows up.
It is, right. He doesn't wear sleeves. He just straight up shows it off.
I don't know what I did. Anyway.
He's got good work here.
He's got an Illuminati on his elbow.
Right.
Is that not the greatest NFL right tackle?
Number just beating out Justin Smith's Budweiser around his arm.
It's like on brand. Like, yeah, I'd like to have 3 ways. Get my dick sucked. I'm Trent Brown. I mean, who they?
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he's been injured a lot. Back to like serious talk on him. But when he does play, he plays well. I know the big contract with the Raiders that didn't work out, but
he's like 6'8", 365. I mean,
just a mountain. Somebody said as far as tight ends in the draft, Wiedemeyer from Texas A&M would be another choice. Yeah, there's a lot of guys like Trey McBride, Colorado State, Greg Dulcich from UCLA. There's quite a few tight ends that I think it's a good tight end draft for 2nd through 4th round.
Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah. Just give me the most athletic dude in the middle rounds.
Yeah, that's probably Dulcich, honestly, from UCLA. Right. All right. Anything else we want to talk about? I'm about to let you guys talk for a minute, and then I'm going to have my variant hop on in my place, and I'll be right back.
All right.
Variant.
All right. a couple of things I wanted to talk about real quick was that man cave. Let's talk about that real quick because I'm seeing all those pictures and everything you got in the background, and
you can even see
that stuff is crazy.
Yeah, this is mine. This isn't we've done we did a what's it called? A Periscope or a live.
We did a Twitter live.
Yeah, Twitter live in his garage, which is all decked out in his collectibles. I do it, and I've done plenty of podcasts and stuff with my background here, and got all my stuff going on.
Dave Altman variant is swapped in.
Is that what happened? Yeah. He's got him muted though.
I mean,
oh, there he is.
The better.
This is the Dale Altman variant right there.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know where he's going. He needed me to switch in.
He said he got an idea from a tattoo. He had to run real fast.
Yeah, he saw that tattoo and he's like, man, I gotta go to the bathroom now.
You gotta do number 3.
But yeah, as far as like all the pictures and everything, it looks like there's a lot of
Spider-Man,
a lot of variety with all of that.
It's mostly Spider-Man comics actually back there.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, some of my favorite famous ones, things like that.
I just bought. No spoilers. I know I'm late to the process. I don't know what the statute of limitations is right now on this, but I just bought the movie. I'm planning on watching it tonight. So
he just watched it the other day too. So he was late as well.
There you go.
Yeah, I bought tickets for the original. I bought tickets for the original week for my entire family back in December, and then we all got COVID, and then I canceled. Obviously, I had to.
No.
And then I never made it back. And then it came out on digital Tuesday, so I watched it Tuesday morning, and it was pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I've already seen some spoilers. I know it's like what's going to happen,
right?
Everything, but it's still. I'm hoping I can still get excited when that moment happens.
It's still mind blowing, and check it out.
It's got some sad moments though too.
I know.
Did you feel that?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it with you, so that's why
there was some moments where it could there was some happy tears and there was some sad tears. I didn't cry, but I'm like, it was
You're
that
feeling
happy emotion and that sad emotion.
Right.
Yeah.
It wasn't like Tony sad.
No, it wasn't Tony sad.
No.
Okay.
But
that was killer. I'm telling you, I've seen that movie like 16 times.
Yeah.
Every single time, dude. It's every single time.
That was sad for what that was sad for what he meant to the MCU. There's a moment in No Way Home where it's like very emotional for Spider-Man as a whole. So there's going to be a process, and then there's going to be a scene that's really going to really make sense with it.
The movie made more sense the second time I watched it though. Yeah, because I saw it in theater and then we just watched it last night for the first time. And at first time I watched it, I was like, they've definitely done good on the CGI and the animation since then. They've kept working on it, but some of the story stuff that didn't make sense or felt corny didn't the second time I watched it, and I don't know why, but it made sense and it wasn't corny, and I was like, damn, this is actually better than I thought.
Okay.
Yeah, I really like how you're seeing all these trailers and stuff for the new multiversal Doctor Strange, and you're seeing all of this stuff, and a lot of it, even the cartoon What If that they released what was it, a year ago or whenever, they're really trying to pull all of that and all of the videos and the TV shows and all that stuff. They're trying to pull all this together, which I love. I love seeing.
I like the cartoon.
I did too. Awesome. It was crazy. I mean, it just, when you're seeing all this stuff, you're like, God, this is insane. Just when you're trying to follow it all, but it all made sense in the end. That was pretty cool. We got
Dave,
some more.
We still got Dave in here. Dave, what's going on?
Here.
Tell us all about Dale.
Give us the scoops.
Man, that's going to be tough. I don't know where to begin. The biggest Bengals fan that I know personally, for sure. I don't know.
Now, do you live out of town? You don't live?
Yeah. So I originally lived in Montana for 5 years. Originally moved back to Akron though.
3-hour drive.
Yeah, about 3 hours away from our hometown. Yeah.
Now, are you guys from Cincinnati or what's
We're like 2 hours south Cincinnati, probably
Kentucky?
southeast.
Basically.
Yeah, man, I'm like right in between them.
Ohio
They're actually in the 740, which is crazy.
Yeah. Dale's gonna get a 740 tattoo
740
on his ass.
Representing with Burrow's face on it.
You got to get it arching right between. You know what I mean? Like 740.
You got any Buffalo tattoos?
I got a buffalo right here.
That's right.
We're from Niagara Falls, New York, so which is just north of Buffalo. But you guys are familiar with Niagara Falls, one of the seven wonders of the world.
Yeah,
I thought.
Yeah,
it's not.
I'm not trying to talk shit, but I am kind of. But I've heard it's actually more beautiful from the Canada side. Is that true?
What did you say?
I said I thought the Ghostbusters were one of the seventh wonders.
I said I've actually heard. I'm not trying to talk shit, but I've heard that it's more beautiful from the Canada side.
Oh, you're right, because you can look at the American side.
You can go over there and drink at 19.
There it is.
Yeah, you can go over there and drink at 19.
It always, of course, it's going to look better when you're drunk.
That's what we do in this area. When you're younger, when you turn 19,
that's it. You're good
to
go
over to Canada.
Basically, we can drink at 19 here.
Back in the day, you could just walk over.
I mean, I can see Canada from the window.
You right. Yeah, literally right out of this window, you can see Canada.
I can see.
Shout out KB Art. Got the new Money Mac print.
Okay.
Money Mac, yeah, that's that dude, man. He's
I did. That's what your wife was pointing at earlier, wasn't it? And I just now realized that.
Yeah, but she's starting to figure Joe Burrow's butthole.
Damn.
That's all it.
Joe Burrow walked into Jeff Ruby's Steakhouse in some gray sweatpants yesterday.
I know.
Sweatshirt. Did you see that?
That dude's on a whole different level.
He had the gray sweatpant impression going on there too. They didn't kick him out with them. So, the ladies like the gray sweatpants.
I would have liked the gray sweatpants. Joe Burrow.
Well, we got a little more Bengals talk right here.
What's up?
Going on, talking about a little bit of draft talk. Do you guys want to do are you guys wanting to do like a mock draft, or are you familiar with any of the players? Or?
I've been so focused on free agency that I can name you about 10 draft prospects now. So we can draft all those ones, but that's about it. I'm not there yet. I will get there though. I will catch up.
Doesn't the focus switch when you're in this win now window, right?
Well, also because the Super Bowl went until you basically are recovering.
We're not used to this.
Right. I don't watch college football until the NFL season ends. I'll watch draft prospects, and I've done it for years where I'm like, I don't know what team that guy. I mix up teams. I don't even know the end of the score at the end of the game because I just don't give a shit. I just want to know how the player performs and what he can and can't do. I don't even know who they play for sometimes. So then I get usually January I start watching. I didn't start until mid-February. I've been able to watch some prospects. But then as soon as free agency was like, it's coming, I need to watch some of these guards, some of these centers, and some of these tackles because I wanted to have an opinion on it. I'm so far behind on draft stuff.
Yeah, I've got my rankings here that I popped up, which anybody wants to get a hold of me, I can shoot them a copy of that. No big deal. I just do it for fun. That's one of the things, I think why I always followed you, Joe, is that was, as this comment says, that was typically our Super Bowl every year.
We're not the Buffalo Bills where since the Tyler Boyd 4th and 13 they've been relevant. We've been pretty much irrelevant since then. So,
man, we had a 17-year drought prior to that.
Yeah,
and the draft is what we had. It was it was a wild carousel.
You know what though? Also, when you're picking top 10-ish or top 12, and they did for 3 years in a row, and then 1 and then 5.
You can zoom in on prospects and
yeah, you know who to look at. Like right away, I know who to start watching. At 31, you can watch 60 different guys and to get an idea. And it's kind of daunting to even dive in because I don't know where to start.
Well,
real quick, Matthew Stafford got a $60 million signing bonus on his contract.
This is important
with 134 guaranteed, right?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's important to watch these quarterback deals and see the guaranteed money.
With Burrow coming up. Yeah.
I don't necessarily want to talk about the guy that Cleveland got because.
Well, okay, so we do kind of have to talk
about. I'll say the $240 million guaranteed was a big number.
Yeah, and then what's your guys' thoughts? I saw where they were in my eyes. I'm looking at it from a betting perspective because when the Browns were posted, when you're reading the tea leaves a little bit. Hold on, you guys talk real quick. I'm getting into that.
I don't know where your thought was there, but yeah, go do daddy duty.
You know what I did?
We're thinking of talking about the Browns outlook as far as betting perspective.
Well,
the addition.
They were talking about they were plus for winning the North this year, and as a betting perspective, in my eyes, I'm thinking it sounds great for the betting on the Bengals.
They're the number 1 pick right now to win the North, and I think they're number 6 in the AFC. Bengals are 8 in the AFC on Bet Online. I was just looking at this, and I'm like, God damn.
Is that based on Jacoby Brissett being their quarterback that they just signed? Because
for 6 games at least, right? Half the year.
Yeah, the suspension's coming, and it could be a year or two. So you just don't know, like. If the NFL thinks he's guilty of what he's been accused of by 22 women,
that's only 22 that want to charge him, basically, or want to sue him. It's like 29 women.
And I think there was 8 that was willing to go to court. Like that says a lot because I don't know. That's why I won't talk a lot about it because it just hits home on a personal level to me. But it makes it easy for me to hate the Browns. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, I think we're going to get some carryover or some bandwagon fans, which come on over. We're just like you guys, except for we've been to the Super Bowl before, So
we're already getting it on.
We're just like you guys, but we have all of our teeth.
Well, Bill's Twitter is getting a lot of Browns fans that are also better say.
I'm trying to think of jokes here on the fly. We're just like Browns guys. Come on over. We like you guys. We just have jobs. It's only different.
I've been seeing a lot of Browns fans on Bill's Twitter, though, that are like, I'm denouncing myself. It almost looks like that stupid viral tweets that keep saying that they're done being a fan of certain teams. But
if they win, we know a lot of those people, not all.
They're talking about joining Bill's Mafia because they're 3.5 hours away. They can just drive up to 90.
My car, we drove down to Cleveland.
Yeah, we bought his car in Cleveland. Do they know you're a Guardians fan too?
I guess I am a Guardians fan now. It's the first time I said that out loud. Thanks.
Hey, I'm telling you right now, I will absolutely jump through a flaming table. I think that looks like a fun time right there.
We will do that.
That shit's not fun. I've gone through it. I've seen it live, so it's a little different than on TV. These guys are in wailing pain.
Yeah.
They hit the ground. The table doesn't do much for breaking your fall. And some of these guys, most of them are terrible. They're fucked up. They don't even, you see the successful ones online. Mm-hmm. I was a season ticket holder for this year and seeing them in the parking lot. People are bouncing off these tables, flipping off onto their heads. They can't even smash through them. And
you have to prop them.
Have you went through one?
Right?
I have not went. I'm 37. They started jumping through tables when I was 30.
You're super old.
Am I? How old are you guys?
I'm also 37. That's why I said it. There gets me shit constantly.
My knees hurt.
I couldn't imagine myself jumping through a table. If I squat too wrong to get the cast iron skillet out from under the stove, I'd hurt.
Right.
Well, that's why last week I was like, oh, me and Jeff, we could put Derek through a table. I didn't volunteer to jump through a table. I said if we go, we could Dudley boys style.
No, I will definitely pay for it in the morning. I mean, I did shoulder dips last night, and my shoulders feel like they're about to fucking fall off. So
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know what it's called. It's where you're on the table and you
you're gonna show
and then you come up or whatever that.
All right.
That's when you're half drunk and you're like, I'm going to exercise.
I had a bourbon. I did have a bourbon.
I'm going to go upstairs. I'm going to go in the basement and lose some weight.
I'm like, I'm going to grab a
Yeah, you got a glass of scotch in you. You're like, you know what? I can do what these motherfuckers do. I'm going to go down and do these fucking push-ups right now. I'm going to do these every day.
Yeah, exactly.
So now we're into the brews portion of the show for anyone that's
that's the best part about our show. We start off sober talking about cool stuff, and then you drink it, get a few beers, and then it's just
start talking
shit. That's the best part about it.
Talk everything. Like, that's what I said. That was my outline, was like, I guess we'll talk like Bengals, and then just
whatever. I'm opener for this one. You had this one. I say,
did you guys see that Gary Owen said, hell yeah, let's do it on coming on this show?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, it's hay burner, you fucker.
You ever had one?
Yes.
I just gave him it's a strong IPA. It's from, it's called Big Ditch in Buffalo.
Big Ditch, right. It's
called a hay burner. It's
yeah, she's not a huge bitch. She's a big bitch.
She's a big ditch, and
he's saying ditch with a D.
It's a good beer.
Ditch. It's
a few of them. I have to cut them with a couple like regular Labatt's or something, and then I can have a hay burner because these things will mess you up. They poison your body on top of getting you drunk.
Oh, great! Gosh. Thanks, you brought it for me.
It's so unfiltered.
Yeah, he handed it directly to you. He's like, "There's here, Joe."
You end up with diarrhea too the next day. Now, if you drink too many of them,
you may bleed out your asshole. Diarrhea.
There you go.
You'll be fine with
drink
one.
up.
Do you have a bottle opener close by?
You can be a man about it. No, don't do that.
Dude, I did that one time. Chipped my tooth, dude. Never again. It hurts so bad.
This one here is the last of the 6-pack. This is called a Rusty Chain. This is Flying Bison, also in Buffalo. It's one of the first Buffalo brewery beers that I'd ever had was a Rusty Chain, probably like 10, 15 years ago. And it's pretty good. It's just a regular lager, Vienna style lager. It's pretty good. It's it's clean and it's delicious. But I'm gonna go get an opener real quick.
Down on the fridge.
I remember one of the first beers I ever drank was a natural. Was it? I can't even remember. Not a Natty Light. It was a. I don't know. It was in a green bottle. Some kind of weird ass
Rolling Rock
beer, but yes, Rolling Rock. That was it. Yeah,
that was great. Yeah,
that was the weirdest beer I think I've ever drank right there. Because it tasted a lot like a Coors Light in my.
Have you ever drank Old Milwaukee?
Oh yeah.
Yes, I've drank Old Milwaukee.
Oh, that's awful.
It's
worst beer.
It's not as bad as like the
Steel Reserve,
red Label or Red Seal or.
Well, he said Steel Reserve. Is that what you were thinking of?
No, those are rough too. But these are like the little bottles. It's got a Red Label on it.
Red Stripe.
Red Stripe. I kept saying Red Seal.
I didn't mind Red Stripe.
I knew.
Hey.
Right.
I'm nailing this fucking beer Jeopardy right now.
Yeah,
I know.
This was a game show of you guessing beers.
Beer Jeopardy.
Yeah, keep describing beers and I'm just guessing them.
Yeah, he's like green bottle. Joe's like, bam, Rolling Rock.
Rolling Rock. He said his one got a red label, little bottle. I said Red Stripe. He goes, yes.
Hey, right here is the Orange Arrow variant for somebody that was asking.
There he is.
Right here.
There you go.
This guy right here is the Orange
Arrow. You a Bengal fan yet?
Hey, Declan, how you doing?
Oh, I got my headphones in. He can't hear you. He's
is he a Bengal fan yet or what?
Can he give us
he is.
Get out of my city.
And then this is the other one.
Hey, Ashland.
They both had to say hi. Oh,
and you watch Arrow?
No.
You haven't watched Arrow or Flash, have you?
No.
Flash is good.
Yeah, but Flash, like, how many seasons? I have not watched like the last 2 or 3. Like, I'm like, you can't have 20 seasons of a show. I'm sorry, I had some point to now.
The first 2 seasons are tremendous.
Yes,
tremendous.
Yeah. Now the last couple seasons have been crazy as far as Arrow goes, where they start getting into time traveling and stuff like that. Right. And it seems like the more they try to make shows better, the worse they get. but I really enjoyed it. I got to the point to where I was literally watching because you had to watch them. Like I would watch one episode of Arrow, one episode of Flash, one episode and I would just go right after the other. Legends of Tomorrow, Supergirl or whatever it was, and I was doing every single one of those because they all just started flowing together, and you had to do it that way, or else you'd see something that you weren't supposed to yet.
I don't have that much time, like, for it. You know?
At
some point.
Hopefully none of my bosses are watching, but when I'm at work, I watch a lot of that shit.
Wow, you're fired.
Listen,
hey.
If you're just straight up working the entire time you're at work, you're a sucker. It's 2022, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I am. I'm a teacher, and I'm constantly teaching these children. I'm not making up draft boards and watching prospects.
Yeah.
That would be irresponsible of me to do that.
Right.
Exactly.
I don't even shit at home anymore. I save my shits on my day off.
Right.
Until I get to work.
Right.
Oh, yeah. There's nothing better. I hate when I have to poop in the morning, and I'm like, can I make it to work?
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to get paid for this one.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the golden rule right there is shit at work, not at home.
The golden
rule. You're like, oh, I got 20 minutes before I get out. I got to go take my shit before I get home.
Exactly.
Yep.
Or you'll eat something right before you leave work, just so you know right before you leave home, because right when you get to work, it's to the shitter.
See, I shower at work too, so like it's a double right there. I take a shit and then I shower. My last hour is like nothing.
That's perfect. We don't have it. Well, we have a shower, but I don't even know if it works, to be honest with you. But yeah, the guys at work tell me all the time they get mad because I'll sit there and I'm wiring these engines, and my hands are doing this, but my head's doing this, like watching my movie.
Huh.
You're fired again. Once again,
you're fired.
And it's not like I call and talk to you sometimes for like 2 hours while you're at work.
No. We don't talk about anything going on with Bengals and life. But as far as Bengals news goes, there wasn't a whole lot that happened today. I know that we kind of talked about the Eli Apple signing a little bit, but
I don't think we did. Eli Apple kind of literally loves the Goodberries.
He loves Joe. I jumped in and I made a shirt. I made this shirt for Joe during the bye week.
Then he wanted it, right?
Well, eventually, yeah, because it said casual Sunday, and I put a strawberry for Joe for Goodberry and an apple. I changed the A's out, and then I had reposted it. I think it was right before the AFC Championship game.
Yeah, and
then he goes, "That's hot. I want one." So I mailed him one. To Paul Brown Stadium, and they got it, but I don't think he ever wore it. I never saw anything. But
I didn't. I also sent out a casual invite the other day when someone was like, "Oh, what would be better was to have Eli Apple one."
Yeah.
That would be funny. Is he coming? Is he about here? Join in.
Yes. Let's bring in Eli right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Joe was living rent free in Eli Apple's head for a I
that was Joe. He came right to Twitter and tried dragging Joe.
Listen, the guy, I was not a fan when he was coming out of Ohio State. I didn't think you should have gone in the first round at all.
Number 10 overall.
I laughed. Like I cracked up. I was like, damn, here we go. And they left William Jackson. I was a big fan of William Jackson. He was my number one corner that year. So when like Eli Apple goes and a few other guys, I'm like, whoa, dude, look at these idiots, the Giants, huh? So I'm doing that's kind of how I get down.
Yeah, I had William Jackson the same, like top 10, top 15 that year. Like I did not see him fall into 24.
And so did the Bengals. Apparently, had him really high as well. And we got to see it for at least 1 year where he looked like, damn, that's that guy we thought he was. Anyway, so then when Apple bounced around, I was like, yeah, he's kind of doing what I thought he would do. He's, he had poor ball skills, and I thought he was disinterested at times. Having said all that, I thought that would continue to be his story this year. It wasn't. He played pretty well.
Nope.
It was like that first game where I'm like, damn, Eli Apple, they're picking on his ass. And after that, nothing. I mean, he was really not getting targeted. They were doing a good job of – I said they were hiding him. He says they can't hide corners. I don't know. Jesse Bates covers a lot of ground back there, and they weren't throwing at you. Something's wrong with that. They couldn't hide you in the Super Bowl. You're right. They can't hide corners.
Right.
But at the same time,
He played well this year. We cannot take that away.
This is his best year, and he's 26 years old. There's no reason to say that he couldn't have the same type of year or even better. He's a former first-round pick. The guy's got talent. Yeah. So you get him on a 1-year, $4 million deal. I still think that means what I think it means two things. Number one, they're not going to sign another guy. Like when people are like, "Oh, Stephon Gilmore," it ain't going to happen. They're not going to spend that much.
Well, I know. I seen that on there, and I did bring that up. But yeah, I don't think it'll happen either. But I would have loved it.
You're paying Awuzie, you're paying Mike Hilton, you're paying Von Bell, and now you're paying Jesse Bates $13 million. You can't spend money at that fifth spot. $4 million is about as much as you can spend at that fifth spot. That it needs to come from cheap production, which comes in the form of draft picks and rookies. So I wouldn't be surprised if they draft 2 corners, first, second round, and then another one, fourth, fifth, sixth round, to really round out that room.
I definitely can see corner in the first 2 rounds. I know you haven't dove into the draft a lot, but once you start, and I was really big on Kyler Gordon, and then his testing was not what I thought it was going to be. Like, he makes a lot of sense for them. I think that Eli may end up starting this year, and maybe halfway through the season, or if there's an injury, and if you drafted a guy in the first or second round, then that guy's going to end up playing and being a big part of this season. And
how many years in a row have we gotten to the 4th or 5th corner? I mean, you have to
always every year.
Yeah, Eli was the 4th corner. You end up getting to that guy every year. So that first round or second round pick is going to play.
And Eli is a good 4th corner. And what you want your 4th corner is somebody that can step in and start if need be. And he did that the entire season.
Bills are going to draft a corner in the first round as well.
Yeah, Buffalo's in a similar situation with their cornerback.
They need speed at bad. They were slow in the back half. You watch Tyreek Hill catch that slant and go 64 yards. It's because they are all running 6-4s or 4-6s. I'm sorry.
And the only other spot was really D-line that I was thinking for Buffalo. And I feel like they addressed that pretty well.
Yeah.
Tim Settle and Von Miller.
Well, they totally revamped it too. They with cutting Starr and Harrison Phillips. They let him go.
Brought back Zach Wilson, the guys they drafted last year in the first couple rounds.
Don't be shocked if they take a receiver earlier than expected as well.
I would think
I've got that as their second need.
Yeah.
What's your guys' thoughts on the receiver game? I mean, for Buffalo and for the Bengals this year, I know we need another receiver, and I know the Bills could use probably 2, maybe 3. I mean, you're not going to get 3 in the draft, obviously, but what's your guys' thoughts as far as receiver goes in the draft?
I think the Bengals wanted to draft another receiver last year, Jalen Darden, who ended up going to the Bucs in the 5th or 6th round. He would have been a guy they were going to take.
Him too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they liked him as well. They had him pegged, and he went, and they ended up taking someone else. I can't remember who it was now, because I can't remember where the picks lined up. I don't want to say the wrong guy. I think someone exactly like that. Can he help in the return game? Can you throw him screens and let him, do some things after the catch? Does he have some speed? That's like peg those guys down a handful.
That was probably the Michigan. Chris Evans picked in, because that sounds like, I mean, you're kind of explaining him to a T, but in a running back body.
Yeah, and I think Chris Evans has a bigger role coming for them. As for the Bills, though, I think they're going to look for a slot guy.
They need speed.
Yeah, they need speed.
I think they're going to look towards speed. They should be looking towards speed. Cole Beasley's gone now, as we can tell. They re-signed McKenzie.
Yeah.
Stephon Diggs is Stephon Diggs. The Gabe Davis, stepping up the way he did. He had 4 touchdowns against Kansas City.
I was going to ask you what your thoughts was on that. Do you think that's kind of a flash in the pan, or do you think that's something that they can look forward to in 2 years?
For 2 years now.
So what's the thing with, he does flash, and the thing with having Stephon Diggs is he really draws a lot of attention, especially in that big game. Stephon Diggs, if he's pulling double coverage, Buffalo, as deep as they were last year and even 2020, there's a lot of options for Josh Allen. But you got Cole Beasley gone. And I think at the beginning of the season, the Bills started off sort of how they finished 2020, and they were being sort of slowed down a bit. And then when they really focused on Josh Allen, and giving Josh a lot of options. You know, our running game really started coming into play. The offensive line was really challenged to sort of make a difference, and still sort of Diggs got his catches. Beasley still got 82 catches at the same amount of catches he got the year before. But with him gone, I think you can sort of focus more now on Gabe Davis, McKenzie, and you need to draft speed. But you can't pay everybody at some point. Stephon Diggs is going to need probably his final big contract. Gabe Davis is going to need to get paid if he can keep this pace, but it's probably not going to be with Buffalo. He's probably going to end up moving on, and you're going to have this young rotation coming in through the draft and these free agents and things like that.
One more thing on the Bills. They were like the bottom 3 team in yak for receiver position. Yeah. So if you can find a guy in the draft that can help you in that area, I think that would be a big boost for them. There's a reason why Cole Beasley is averaging like 9 yards per catch. He just is not going to stretch the field and wasn't going to break.
Tyreek Hill caught a 15-yard pass and burned us.
Everyone wants that. But I mean,
why wouldn't they look into a Will Fuller then, like to stretch the field even? Like a 1-year deal? I mean, I know he's been injured a lot, but sounds like
everyone should, right? Even the Bengals should look at Will Fuller. They're on a 1-year deal. I mean, everyone could use that guy. Remember when Higgins went down for those 3 games, how the offense were like kind of shrunk and all the attention went to Chase? You bring in a Will Fuller, a former first-round pick that can run –
Go around.
DeSean Jackson, or did DeSean Jackson sign with anybody? I don't think so. Still got some speed, don't he?
He did.
I know he's older, but
he got deep quite a few times last year.
Yeah, but guys like that to just.
What's
your guys' thoughts on AJ Green? I don't think he'll come back to Cincinnati, but he seemed like he still had a little bit left. I mean.
Me looks around my garage, has like multiple posters of AJ Green.
AJ Green is obviously like Ring of Honor eventually, right? You know, he's going to be on there.
And that's the end of his story with Cincinnati, just like Carlos Dunlap, who got released, in my opinion.
Yeah. We're going to celebrate both those guys, honestly. I wish Dunlap didn't leave the way he did because, honestly, he was one of the best defensive players ever played for them. But AJ Green definitely will be in Ring of Honor one day. We'll get to talk about him a long time. But, man – the last few years, how disinterested he has looked at times has been such a bummer and such a killer for like what people view him as, I think, because it still looks like he can play.
And I was so excited when we got Joe Burrow with him. I was like, AJ's going to ball out. He's going to be a free agent, and we'll probably bring him back. Like, and it just acted like he did not want to get hurt.
I want to know what's going. I would love to be a fly on his wall when he's talking about what the Bengals did this year, because that has to eat at him, that he went so many years, and then the year he leaves is when we it's hard to believe that all of this. I mean, we're literally coming up on I think we're about a month away from when we released the new stripes. So that's right. It's crazy to think that was only a year ago, but all of this stuff happened the moment we let go of AJ Green.
It was Joe Burrow effect, man. You guys get Joe Burrow, and that's what turns it. It doesn't. I don't know that it matters who he's throwing to. Honestly, I think Joe Burrow.
Well, Jamar is pretty good. I will say.
I get it. Jamar. That's not even a discredit. That's not a discredit to the 3 receivers he has that are so good. I just think. I think the AFC. You see the AFC gearing up, right? You see. I made a point earlier, the NFC's or the NFL's version of a super team, it took to beat a mildly deficient sort of Bengals team with that offensive line, but Joe Burrow. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, you got Joe Burrow who's got this killer instinct. He's got this elite sort of awareness and ability to rise, to make it happen, to get this thing going. 10 games.
The truck, not the trailer, as what's his name would say.
What kind of redneck ass shit are you talking about right now?
They always talk about on Move the Sticks. Daniel Jeremiah, that's his name. They always talk about if your quarterback is a truck or a trailer. Is he the kind of quarterback that can carry the team, or is he the kind of quarterback that needs the team to carry him? Andy Dalton was the trailer.
Exactly. What's funny about that is how many it's like 99% of people can now see the difference between Dalton and Burrow.
Yeah.
I felt bad for all the years that I was like trying to warn people that Dalton was not the guy and say, he's limited, and because he was such a good dude and they won a lot of games and it was a lot of fun to watch that team.
Average. He was average. He's an average talent.
I've never been afraid to say it. And, so I always felt bad because I felt like I had to say it so that people would realize. And I think it's easy to say it, but then once Burrow comes in and steps in, you're like, damn, it's so clear as day that, like, if you have an average quarterback, it's why the Browns did what they did for Watson, to be honest with you, because Mayfield was just average. And he's had some success.
This for 4 years. He's Andy Dalton 2.0.
And 15, 20 years ago, you'd keep that guy and be happy. They'd be paying him already. Yeah. But now it's like the arms race in the AFC is so strong. That
like when Buffalo Bills paid Ryan Fitzpatrick, they gave him this mega deal. He didn't last much more than 2 years after that.
Right.
But I've QB purgatory,
right?
And you've talked about that. But it's different now. If you don't cut that leash soon, you waste so much time, many years.
The Raiders, to be honest with you, they're getting to the playoffs with Derek Carr. They're a decent team. Derek Carr is actually better than he's ever been. Derek Carr was Andy Dalton 3 years ago, but now he's actually, he's developed in the pocket. He's developed his deep accuracy. It's still not enough.
They're giving him that piece though. They're giving him Adams, right?
Oh, he played with him in college.
Right. Mm-hmm. So that's what I mean by that. They went all in for Adams.
Yeah, they're pushing the chips in.
Yeah,
to get Carr that piece, because what else can they do for him?
Right.
This is it.
Yep.
You've got 2 or 3 years
with Devontae Adams at wide receiver.
Well, I heard they were already in discussion. So, do you think that a deal gets done before the start of the year, or do you think they're like, hey, let's see what you guys do with Adams, or see what you do with Adams, and then that'll determine your contract next year?
No, I think they'll probably try and sign him, and just. I think it's a message to the team when you sign the quarterback of this is our guy, everyone buy in, believe. Because if you leave any doubt, it doesn't help.
Yeah.
No, you play out that year and it never works out typically.
Yeah, it doesn't.
So the Blaster X wanted to know where you guys thought Baker would end up.
The Colts.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say as well.
That's where he wants to go.
The AFC still got to go heavy.
So I think the Browns are petty as shit. And I think, since Baker wants to go to the Colts, I think they'll be like, all right, we got you all lined up. Go hang out with what's his name, Sam Darnold in North Carolina.
I mean, the other team I could see at least getting involved or thinking about it would maybe be the Saints.
Yeah,
where they missed out on Watson.
And I actually think he'd be a great fit there. For if they want to run the offense they did with Breeze, if there's still enough lineage there where they're still running that.
I mean,
Michael Thomas comes back healthy.
Matt Ryan could even find himself somewhere also. So Matt Ryan could go probably to the Colts. The AFC still, I think, gearing up.
AFC,
I think they're still gearing up.
Why does everyone want to come to the AFC?
I think right now it's this domino effect. So the other AFC fringe teams now are like, we need a quarterback
because the writing is clear.
Because the writing's clear. Right. They're not going to they can't sell it to their fans. They can't sell it to their organization or their players if they can't get behind a quarterback that's at least not top 8 or 10 of what's going on already so far.
How many of the top 10 quarterbacks are in the AFC right now? That's the crazy part. I saw somebody tweeting that earlier saying,
there's 7 elite quarterbacks in the AFC.
Yeah, exactly. And I saw somebody tweeting about this earlier, talking about rearranging everything because the AFC is just. And I know because what was it? 2 years ago, it was the NFC was the powerhouse, and this kind of they have these where they just kind of step ladder themselves. But
Joe Burrow didn't make the Pro Bowl last year in the AFC.
Yeah.
And it just got harder to do that. I mean,
exactly.
There's also a minor Tom Brady effect, right? Tom Brady's no longer in the AFC. He's in the NFC. And now you've got more actual what is it?
Parity?
Parity. You have real parity now in the AFC.
But parity.
There's maybe 4 guys if you believe in Kyler. I don't know. Kyler feels hit or miss to me.
Right.
But,
I think
Tom
honestly,
Brady,
right now,
Aaron Rodgers, Stafford, and then maybe Kyler. That's it, right? In the NFC.
Yeah, I mean, Dak Prescott's in conversations.
Yeah, Dak is good,
but he's not proven much. Honestly.
He hasn't proven he can win in the playoffs. Basically, at all.
He hasn't proven that he can win with no question in the NFC East, and that's what tells me right now that I don't personally think that Dak's the guy. I think he's a very, very good quarterback.
Well, he's the guy for Dallas because they paid him.
Oh yeah, right. But I just don't think that he's that guy that can take him to the next step.
So even if we put him behind Kyler in the NFC as the fourth best quarterback, that means he's got a shot to represent the NFC.
Yeah, that means he wins the NFC East for a few years, and Dallas doesn't do anything because he is winning the NFC East.
What I mean is, though, if you're a top 4 or 5 quarterback in your conference, we just saw this with Burrow.
Yeah,
you got a chance to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, you got a chance to make it there. A couple breaks, a couple picks. The defense steps up.
And that's why people are like, oh, what are you worried about? We got Burrow. I agree. No one is more confident in Burrow than I am. Point is, though, you add more chips to that table. You add more quarterbacks to that fucking dice that we got to roll. And the less chance you're going to land on a number 1. And if we're 1, you got to roll that dice. I mean, I don't want to do that. I want to.
We've watched the New York Giants twice beat Tom Brady and the Philadelphia Eagles beat.
You just got to get there.
Yeah.
You got to get there.
But it's the path now in the AFC is you're going to have to beat Deshaun Watson, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen. You're going to have to beat Russell Wilson, Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen.
And Herbert.
I didn't even mention right. You're gonna have to be.
There's a good solid 6, 7, 8 guys in the AFC that you can see there's going to be a Super Bowl run because they're that good at quarterback.
I'm telling you right now, I have no doubt in my mind that next year you will see a quarterback throw for 4,500 yards and 40 plus touchdowns and not make the playoffs in the AFC just because of how crazy. Stacked up that division.
You know, another team we didn't even mention. Who was the 1 seed in the AFC this year?
The Tennessee Titans. Exactly. Yeah.
What did they just do today? Yeah, they have Ryan Tannehill, but what did they just do today?
Robert Woods.
Robert Woods for a 6th-round pick. Robert Woods.
They still haven't addressed the quarterback, in my opinion, is their deficiency.
Right.
That's
why
the Bengals
made it as a 1 seed is what I'm saying.
Well, all right. So who's got a clear path to the 1 seed because their divisions suck? The Titans in the AFC South or the Bills in the East?
I think they were an odd number 1 seed. And
I think
I was fighting people off when I said they were the weakest 1 seed we've had in a while. And I think it's I think it's due to we already had this sort of weird AFC teams already kicking each other's ass throughout the season.
Yeah.
And it's going to get worse.
In all honesty, I think the Titans are literally a decent quarterback for the Colts away from not even making the playoffs because they can't win their division. I mean, I think it's that close, honestly.
You're going to get 1 team out of the East, 1 team out of the South for the foreseeable future.
Yeah. And when I saw rumors Aaron Rodgers could end up with Tennessee, I'm like, that's their Super Bowl. If they got somebody like that, they're that type of quarterback from winning it.
They couldn't get out of Tannehill's contract this year, but next year, watch this team do whatever it takes to get a quarterback.
And look at how many move every year the last 2 years. It's easier now than ever before to trade for a quarterback, it seems like. Because if they want out, they get out.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's, in all honesty, I think that has everything to do with why Tom Brady came back, rolling it back to the NFC side, because he knows that, I mean, the shortest path is a straight line, right? So, and he knows that there's not much competition in the NFC East for him to make the playoffs. So, and once, like you said, once you get in the playoffs, it's anybody's guess that who's going to win the damn thing.
Yeah.
Hey, I feel like we could go all night with this, but I asked these guys for 45 minutes to an hour. They were nice enough to give us an hour and a half, and I truly appreciate it. Anything you guys want to plug?
It looks like they're out of wings too. So
it looks like what?
I said it looks like you're out of wings too. So
there's a few.
We got a few, but no, this is cool. I had a great time.
I wanted to read this tweet. I don't know who this guy is. Evan Macy. He said the Raiders are still considered the favorites to sign cornerback Stephon Gilmore. Per source.
That's what I seen.
and have a strong offer on the table, but there are still other teams in play, including the Bengals. The decision could come soon.
Yeah, I think the Raiders will probably, because like we said, they're pushing all in.
Yeah.
Devontae Adams, Chandler Jones, gave Max Crosby all that money. But how much money do they have left? I mean, then we have to get into about structuring contracts and this.
Exactly.
And
we'll end on this tweet right here. S_Bart_14 says RELAX. Imagine any human being telling Joseph Lee Burrow no.
So what? Because of Lyle Collins?
Because of Lyle Collins, yeah.
Yeah, but that's money. It's medicals, and we don't even know yet.
He may not have said no to Burrow. You know, it could be a lot of factors.
I mean, he was at that mall. It looked like he was wearing the same kind of sunglasses Joe Burrow wears. Like,
yeah.
He's probably like, I love Joe Burrow, but you know what else I like?
Money.
Fucking $30-40 million.
38 glasses.
And let's be honest, the only person I've ever seen tell Joe Burrow no was Aaron Donald, and that play still haunts me.
Yep.
And we're ending this on a sad note now.
I'm just saying.
Jamal Chase is wide open.
He was wide open.
You had to end it on talking about that.
Can you get it out of your mind?
I replayed it. Have any of you guys replayed that game yet?
No.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
So I've watched the first half. Because the first half, I mean, it looked like everything was going smoothly. Yeah, we were still losing it, but it looked like, hey, we're still in this thing. And then I'll tell you, I watched the first 3 quarters, but I have yet to watch the game all the way through yet.
I was trying to be courteous on sharing any Von Miller highlights, and that last play, he had the edge on.
They didn't Isaiah Prince. He didn't put a hand on him the last drive.
Yeah.
Last drive, he missed him 3 times in a row.
But I didn't share anything. I went to the Super Bowl against the Seahawks, and I just was like, "Here's some good stuff."
That's for the people that are like, Isaiah Prince isn't that bad. Listen,
I'll be the one to say that. Other than the
Super you Bowl, said that a million times this year in section 158. I didn't think he
played terrible. But
Drew Sample
then I
over
looked
here.
at his PFF grades. I'm like, oh shit, maybe I need to go back and rewatch him.
It's
no shit. His favorite players are Drew Sample and Isaiah Prince.
He likes the underdogs.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
He tries to stay positive for every player, and I'm like,
okay, I will say this in my defense. I am a Ohio State.
There's no defending that bullshit.
And that's one of the reasons why I'm a Prince fan. But
I like Prince.
Right, Purple Rain. You know? You can't beat it.
It was the best halftime show ever.
In the rain.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
Well, I love this year's.
Yeah, me too.
I love this year too.
Good.
Yeah, I was
It seems like if you were above the age of like 45, you hated it. But
until 50 showed up and he was really bloated. I
stepped back with this pack of zigzags and this bag of this weed. It should need it to be. Oh, sorry.
No, you're right.
I love it for them though.
Those are the words.
No truer words have ever been spoken.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Would you be interested in doing this again in the future?
Sure. Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right, hell yeah.
Drink beer, get drunk, and
next time with no pants on.
No pants.
Hey,
I didn't say all that.
I forgot I was wearing them tonight. So
sweatpants.
Hey, Who Day? Go Bills. Do you have is it just Go Bills Go or
Go Bills?
Okay.
Go Bills.
Go Bills and Who Day. Thanks, guys.
No. They do have something. Stop them.
It's a shout song.
Nobody circles the wagon like the Buffalo Bills.
That's a Chris Berman thing. I get it.
Here, listen. Now we go Who Day and someone yells Who Day, right?
Yeah.
They have hey. Right. And then the other guy goes, hey.
Well, when you're in the airport, you got a Bills hat on.
Hey.
Go Bills.
It is Go Bills, but that is the sound while walking in through the gates.
Yeah.
But anyways,
which we need to work on in Paul Brown Stadium, by the way, because we got to figure something out. I heard some things with
Jaeger bomb,
the Jaeger bombs,
and this was the Jaeger bomb.
Those are some
right. You painted your nails. Nice, Dale.
Yeah.
That was Dave's hand. Your brother's Dave, right?
Yeah.
That was Dave's hand.
Definitely not the wife. It was.
Yeah, those are Dave's. Yeah.
Dave's
it's 2022. No judgment.
They are pretty.
Bengals Brews podcast, the only podcast where we talk about Bengals and get drunk. I think it's the only podcast where we talk about Bengals and life and get drunk. But
even if it's not, we're the fucking coolest one.
Exactly. There you go. So we'll end this with a Who Day and a Go Bills.
Who Day?
Go Bills.